Hello and a warm welcome to a Management Center tutorial. In this tutorial, we'd like to show you how you proceed after you have fresh installed Management Center and starting Management Center the first time. In this case, then the welcome dialog, you see there, it's called welcome dialog, appears and shows you how many cameras the system has already detected in the network and provide you some other options. These three lower options are really specialized for customers who used former versions of our VMS solutions and want to import the old configuration. If you have already used Management Center before or you have a Management Center configuration, then you can follow here the Open Project dialog. The Start New project is for all who has already Management Center configured and want to start a new project. But in 99% of the usage of a Management Center after installation, they follow that path here to say, I like to add devices, because that is the first step what you like to do. If you're now selecting in this list of cameras, and this list are provided automatically depending on the connected cameras in your network. From a technical point, these cameras will be searched by the Bonjour service, and every camera which are in the same network as the PC will be appearing in that list. And here we see we have here 7 cameras in my network, but currently the password is not a standard password. Instead of fill out every password by clicking and typing, we can using here the key symbol to do that in one step. There I type in my, let us say, typical password for my system. And then the system will try to using this new user credentials. You see as well now the username has changed and also the password. And at least 5 of these cameras accept this password. To keep it simple, I select one camera, press the button Control on Windows or the Apple key on Macintosh, clicking, selecting the cameras I like to add to my system. And then I click here on the arrow button to go to the next step. And then the welcome dialog offers me 2 options to finish that. And for some rare cases where you don't want to use Management Center as the VMS client, then you starting the pre-configuration mode. For example, you like to configure the cameras for any other software and you want to prepare the basic settings and update firmware, then you follow the pre-configuration mode. If you want to use in Management Center as a real VMS, as the leading VMS system, then you press here the big button which is called Finished, and then these cameras will be added to the Management Center and we can start then with the next configuration steps. So as you can see from the installation from the Management Center.exe or DMG in the Macintosh world, the installation takes a few minutes, and then searching for cameras and adding that to the system another 3-4 minutes. After you start then Management Center, in some cases, depending on the Management Center version, depending on the camera setup and camera firmware version, it could be that a security alert will pop up. Don't worry about that. It's nothing which you should be afraid about it. It's only mention the camera which you like to add has a different IP address in the certificate as it has in your network. That is clear. You can double check here and check the certification, and then you see that's the issuer name that it's not identical with the current camera IP. SSL informs you about that. The Management Center handles this information dialog, and you as user simply press Always Trust for each of such cameras. You see we have some other cameras, and for each camera this alert will be appearing, and then you press on Always Trust. That is where the others will also come. Always Trust, and then this is a one-time action and it will never appear then again. Probably here I have entering the wrong password. I'm not 100% sure, but from the principle, the cameras are there. Let us see if this camera has probably a different password. We are not worried about that situation. And the default setup after you have adding the cameras from the welcome dialog, it's will creating also a group. It's called all cameras. And if you're pressing here on the grid symbol for all cameras, you see all the cameras are now in a layout. This is a layout with a focus window. That means you can drag and drop one camera from the layout to the focus window to have a bigger view, to operate here then with that video and communicate. This is my door station. There I have also the possibilities to communicate or open the door, switching on the light if I have a light connected on the camera. If I want to change that layout to say, no, I don't want to have this size and I want to have a smaller or bigger focus window, go in the right lower corner, and there you can define how big should be the focus window. Currently it's twice of the normal grid size of a camera. If you say 3 times or 4 times, then you see the size of the focus window will be adjusted. And the other buttons here define the aspect ratio of the camera. Every camera has a different aspect ratio, depends on the resolution settings. In my case, the 8:3 aspect ratio is perfectly. And if you say, oh, I don't want to have the focus window, that one, you press on that button and then the focus window will be disappearing in that layout. If you say, no, I want to have the focus window back, and then you can also get the focus window back. If the settings are done, close the edit mode, and then you have this layout. If you say, for example, I want to have more layouts, more groups, there go to that castle symbol, lock symbol, and then you can enable the edit mode for the sidebar. And there you can say with a plus button, I want to create a new camera group. Then you need to define a camera group. Let us take our outdoor cameras, selecting a predefined icon. Let us take the sun as outdoor camera, defining the frame rate of each camera in that grid. Probably we say 12 frames per second, and click outside of that dialog, let us say on that gray field, for example, to take over that kind of settings. Press again on here, and then you see we have an empty group which is called outdoor. To fill that group, we take one of the cameras, but drag and drop and put that here to the outdoor group. Then you see suddenly that group has one camera, and if you say no, we also want to add this camera, and then we have now a group of 2 cameras and 2 camera groups in general, and we will close the edit mode. And if we're going now to the grid view of the outdoor cameras, we see we have now 2 cameras in that group. So you can create here many groups as you want. And if you want to add further cameras, what you need to do, you go to File, you go to Welcome is one option, and then you go back to the search dialog to add devices, selecting cameras, entering the right password, and adding, and so on. So that step is very straightforward and similar. If you have, for example, the need to say, for that group, I like to work as well with the graphical layout which represent my facility, my house, and you want to place the camera there, and switch here, as I've shown, get to that on-screen symbol, which switch then to the graphic view. And here with that button here, if you enable the edit mode, then you have also the possibility to place there your cameras, adjust the view, adjust the size, and say these cameras are mounted on that corner and looking in that direction, and you can also resize it. That's our possibilities what you can do in here. You have also the chance to taking cameras placing a preview live mode of that camera in that layout. Yeah, so you are free in that definition of that layout. After you are finished, you closing the edit mode, and then you have a graphic view, you have a grid view for disk, outdoor, crew. I think this is the quick overview how you get started with the Management Center. And by the way, at the Playback, it's by default normally already set it up if you're using, let us say, the basic configuration of the cameras. And when you switch here to the Playback mode, and then you see with the inbuilt SD card, the camera already recording on that SD card, and you can use it. If you want to have that faster, if you want to store that longer, as the SD card has capacity for the footage, that is, assuming you like to record that for months with a high frame rate, and then you also can using an external NAS storage. How to configure that, you will see that in the component view with the right mouse click here, and then you can go to this settings and defining your external NAS device and type here in the credentials and access data. I don't want to get too deep in that. For that we have other videos. This was only really the first introduction, how to start, how to add in cameras, how to get in live and playback immediately with the Management Center. So to say, thank you for your time and have a good day.